businesses, restricted travel.
Why don't you research the whole pandemic like you did Israel-Palestine? I feel like if you did, you'd reach a different conclusion. Unlikely. The issue is that regardless of what you think about what should have happened or what the policy should have been, the issue is that no matter what your conclusion is, you're 99% you're a fucking moron. That's the issue. There are a lot of good reasons why you should or shouldn't vaccinate somebody, why you should or shouldn't do lockdowns, why you should or shouldn't do whatever. But the problem is your inability to honestly engage with anything that's happening. That's the issue. For instance, there is a legitimate argument to be had between should you be allowed to mandate that somebody inject their body with a medication to prevent somebody else from getting sick, okay? That's a fascinating argument. There's a ton of back and forth that you can have that is steeped in political theory, in epidemiological theory, in personal moral philosophy. There's so much that you could talk about here. But because you're so fucking retarded, the conversation isn't, do you have a right to mandate me get an injection so that I reduce my risk of getting somebody else sick? Instead, what you go is, actually, it's fake and nobody gets sick. And it's not even a big deal. Nobody's even getting that sick. You won't engage on that argument in any level. None of the arguments about vaccination, none of the arguments on lockdowns, none of the arguments on masking, none of the arguments on closing schools, none of these arguments can happen in the more interesting one where there are a lot of interesting arguments because there's nobody to have those arguments with because you fucking retards are obsessed with trying to say that the disease didn't exist and if it did exist, it was a bioweapon. If it was a bioweapon, it was also not harmful at the same time. And if it was harmful, it was only harmful to really old people. And actually, it wasn't even that harmful to old people and they didn't die. Although if you did stick one old person, if you were Cuomo and you stuck an old person in a hospital, apparently they were a bioweapon that killed every single old person in the facility. And actually, hospitals were never in trouble at all. And the vaccine was just to get 100% reduction of all diseases, even though they said flatten the curve, not destroy the curve. Like there's no argument there. I don't think I would ever waste my time doing deep dive, like long-term research on the internet on vaccines because I would kill myself if I had to have the arguments over and over again with 25 IQ people who are pretending to be 75 IQ people who are listening to 85 IQ people and then parroting their opinions back to me on Twitter. I would rather kill myself, okay? I will never, ever in my life engage in long-term on-stream research on that. I'd rather look up the conspiracies, learn them, so that when I talk to your retarded fuck idols, I can shit down their throat and then move to the next person. That's what I would do. Holy shit, I absolutely hate all of the conversations regarding all of this, okay? Because I've said this before, I've complained about this on like 10 different programs. There are so many good lockdowns and masking were debatably good. Closing schools for as long as they were was probably a horrible idea. Mandating vaccines was almost for sure a good idea for the first two, for the alpha and then the first variant, and then after that is questionable. Vaccine passports maybe didn't help. Not even sure if it was remotely worth the economic damage. None of those conversations can happen because when you talk about lockdowns, you fucking retards go, actually keeping your distance from people and washing your hands doesn't actually fucking do anything. Which is like the most retarded fucking thing in the world. You can watch every single other communicable disease fall off the fucking face of the earth when we do lockdowns and masks, but you're gonna pretend like it doesn't impact anything? You don't think that sneezing on people has you live in a whole other fucking reality. Like, I swear to God, if Fauci came out and said that licking people's assholes was a horrible way to contract COVID-19, you guys would be sucking the shit out of each other. Like, that's how contrarian your brains are when any piece of information came out of the CDC. It's actually unfucking believable. But regardless, I will never, ever, ever do on-stream long-term research on this because any possible conversation you could have about anything related to epidemiology is a minefield, okay? Is a minefield for your brain. And every step... I don't want to watch this anymore, okay. Anyway. Isn't that basically what happened with the Jan 6 research? Yeah, but that's... Jan 6 is still like... January 6 is at least like a political issue. And I get people having strong political opinions about it, but the medical related shit just makes me want to kill myself. I'm good.